Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Jay's Fifth Down podcast. Once again, your host Jaden here with Nick Winkler, a great friend. Always love to have him on the show as we're near a special Christmas weekend of the NFL. But Nick, thank you for coming on today, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jay.
Of course. So, Nick, yeah, as I said, a lot of big games this weekend. Of course, on Christmas Eve, which is on a Saturday. It's just weird because Christmas on a Sunday. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just used to Christmas being during the week, so it falls on a Sunday this year. It's just strange, but yeah. So we have a lot of games this weekend, including the 49ers taking on the Commanders. But so before we get into that, man, just to recap, they got the win over the Seattle Seahawks last week on Thursday Night Football. What did you like? What you saw out of San Fran, and what was the big thing to as far as getting that win there? What were the keys in getting that win?
Yeah, I like what I saw because Brock Purdy going into that game was banged up, and so they had to kind of design a play scheme to not only keep him safe, but at the same time, open things up at times, and take some shots down the field, which they did, which I haven't seen them do a whole lot so far with Brock Purdy. The pump fake George Kittle down the middle, like that's one of the best play designs I've seen in a really long time from Kyle Shanahan. That was just beautiful. And I like how they leaned on Christian McCaffrey. You don't want to put too much on his plate, obviously, because he is injury prone the last few years. But at the same time, this is why you got the guy, right? You got him to go in there and really just kind of handle business. And he did that, and Purdy did enough. And this 49ers defense is just next level. So it's really fun to watch them play. They gave up the late touchdown, which was sort of meaningless at that point. I mean, yeah, it did bring Seattle back into the game. But you could kind of tell they were just trying to keep everything in front of them, and then they bent, finally broke. And I'm not worried about that defense going forward, not in the slightest. I mean, the front four is looking fantastic. They might get Javon Kinlaw back soon. They also just opened up the practice window for Kalia Davis, a rookie that they're really high on, a run stopper, kind of right there in the middle. You got the best three linebackers in football, and then the secondary is playing extremely well. Ward has really taken his game to the next level. For the 49ers, Jimmy Ward's playing outstanding. Hufunga made himself a Pro Bowl. So
Yes,
you really like, if you're a 49er fan, you love what you see on the field right now.
Yeah, and before we move on, I do want to talk about the Pro Bowl. You mentioned that. So I was looking at when they announced the players for the NFC, and I was looking at the running back list. I did not see Christian McCaffrey on there, and
What's up?
I was very startled.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 1,500 yards from scrimmage. Like, he's been the 49ers offense since being traded. I mean, I guess they probably take into account what he did in Carolina before he came over, which wasn't that impressive. It was just kind of pedestrian numbers. But, I mean, what he's done in San Francisco, like, you really got to take that into account. I was shocked that he didn't make it. I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is amazing. We all know what he can do with the ball in his hands when he's healthy. He's electric, and I just want to mention how since he came over in that trade, it's just really, just boosted a 49ers offense that was already good,
Right.
just made them better. And it's like your defense game planning for this team. It's hard. I mean,
You're exactly right. I mean, I'm shocked that Dre Greenlaw didn't get himself a Pro Bowl nod there either. I mean, you could very easily have had Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw starting right next to each other for the NFC at middle linebacker. And I don't think a whole lot of people that know football and understand what Dre Greenlaw's done this year would be able to argue against that.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the NFL's best linebackers. Him and Warner together, just to have that tandem duo, it's amazing. When you
Dominant.
have two good linebackers on your defense, two really good linebackers, it's a great thing.
Oh, 49er fans know all about that with Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. We had those guys together for quite a few years.
Yeah, definitely. So, we've seen that the last couple years. She had Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch a couple years ago. They were pretty good down in Dallas. Unfortunately, injury issues played that up. But so next game, as I mentioned, up on Christmas Eve for the 49ers against the Washington Commanders. Chase Young is making his season debut. Just in time, right, for this game. So what's going to be keys for San Francisco to get this win here?
I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing, right? Play it smart. Maybe I'd like to see them get Jordan Mason a little bit more involved early. They gave him the one carry early and there was a penalty. And then it's like, we didn't see him again until the fourth quarter. Like, maybe take a little bit off of Christian McCaffrey's plate and try not to kind of run him into the ground with just 3 games left. And obviously, Brock Purdy, just keep doing what he's doing, be accurate, just hit your guys. Trust that your guys are going to be where they're going to be. I mean, he had one bad throw last game, and it was almost should have been picked off, and it wasn't. Luckily for him, the defense just needs to do what they do. You have a pretty good Washington team that's coming in right now. That's coming off a really tough loss last Sunday night with the Brian Robinson touchdown, Terry McLaurin off the line of scrimmage, and then the no call on the pass interference. Yeah. It's like that was a brutal way to end a football game. And me personally, I'm a fantasy football player, and we're in the playoffs. And I had Brian Robinson, and I was trailing by 1 point. So I got the excitement of like, wait, what? Like just the ultimate roller coaster of emotions there for me. And so imagine what they went through, right? I mean, they're going to be fired up. They're going to be coming in. The Niners luckily have that extra time, right? They played on Thursday. And now they're getting to go to Saturday, and Washington's playing on a short week. So kind of everything's leaning in the 49ers way. But that being said, you still got to go out and make plays and really just lean on your defense, as the 49ers have done for pretty much most of the season.
Yeah, and I've been really impressed with the Washington Commanders. Just how, because, they were struggling earlier. Carson Wentz just not really producing.
Couldn't get it. Just couldn't figure it out, right?
He couldn't. And so Ron Rivera making that change to Taylor Heinicke, who, as we saw in the past couple of years, has done a good job there in Washington when he's been starting. And, I guess the team – it just looks like the team responds better with him. They just play better,
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not always about numbers, right? And it's not always about a pretty ball. It's about, can you be a leader? Can you lead a football team? Can you get that play done when it needs to be done? And Taylor Heinicke's done that time in and time out. What was it, 2.5 years ago in the playoffs when he made that? He won a football game for them. Like, that was amazing. The guy's putting his body on the line, diving for the end zone. Like, he's shown me a lot, in his 2.5 years so far playing football for the Commanders, and he's impressive. Like you said, they follow him. He does something right. He does something that leads that football team, and we're gonna get to see it up close as 49er fans this weekend.
Yeah, he's definitely a dog, man. This is a guy that was
that's a good word.
He's
he's a dog.
Man.
He's gonna keep coming back. He's gonna keep fighting.
Yeah. I just love the way he plays. I love his character. Like I said, his leadership, of course, and because this is a guy that was a backup in Carolina. He played sparingly there, just kind of just floating around, and ended up in Washington and was back up there. But then he took on a starting role, and it's just been cool to watch. And then of course they trade for Carson Wentz, which I didn't totally get, but hey.
Well, apparently they wanted Jimmy Garoppolo, but then the shoulder surgery thing, and so I think Wentz was like the backup plan for Washington.
Of course it was.
Yeah, that's what you want to be, right? The backup plan. I'd rather be in the plan. Second, third, fourth, I don't care, as long as I'm in the plan.
Yeah, right. So
a question for you real quick. About your Falcons.
Okay.
What did you think of Ritter? Tell me what you thought of the early returns.
He started off the game. He played a little shaky, but you expect that from a rookie. And you're playing New Orleans. That's a tough environment. You know how that is, man. And they those fans can be crazy down there in the Superdome. And so I didn't expect too much out of him in his debut, but he played decently. Put up 97 yards passing. For his first action of the game, this whole season, he looked okay. So moving forward, they got the Ravens also on Saturday, so they're playing on Christmas Eve too. Lamar Jackson's out, so I'm just interested to see how he goes up against that tough Ravens defense led by Roquan Smith and those guys back there, Marlon Humphrey in the secondary. I just want to see how he comes back after a so-so debut.
Yeah, like you said, that's a tough spot to kind of make your debut, right? To make your first NFL start there in New Orleans. Yeah. That's tough. But, when you look at a team like Atlanta and their young offensive core right now, you gotta kind of feel good, right, for the future, for next year and maybe, a year from then as well, like year 3. You got London and Algier. Algier's coming in close. He's going to be setting that rookie rushing record soon, right, too? I think he's inching up on it.
He is close, man. Yeah, I love Algier. He's a physical back. He's also elusive, so which you don't really see from you rarely see the big guys kind of like that. The bigger backs just shifty. He's got that shift to him. He's he hits the hole hard and accelerates, and I love what he's doing. And I love the fact they're giving him more carries this year. Even though Patterson was supposed to be that guy, but he dealt with some injury issues, and Algier's kind of stepped up. So again, building that foundation, man, that's what you have to do. You as a 49ers fan remember those tough years, right? Those rough years.
Yeah. 2017, 2018, I remember. Even before the Shanahan regime took over, they were even worse than that. So, yeah, we had a tough 5 or 6 year stretch there as 49er fans. And sometimes you just got to do it, right? You just got to rebuild. You got to start from scratch. And, you guys had all that dead money, on the books for this year. I think you have maybe a little bit more next year, but then it all comes off the books, so then that'll be really good. You'll be able to bring in some high-priced free agents, and watch out for the Falcons. I'm calling it right now. 2 years from now, not next season, the season after, NFC South champions. Watch.
No, that's a very bold prediction, my man.
Write it down. Mark it.
Okay. Yeah, but like I said, I've been impressed with the Falcons this year. I mean, again, they're playing these close games, and most of them, at least, are finding a way to get the win. Whether it's a turnover on defense, or just they Arthur Smith said a bunch of times about these guys that they just fight. They fight, and that's what you want. You want your team
to be
fighters.
And this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, too, because we've got Thursday football, Saturday football, Sunday football, and Monday football.
And Monday football, yes. Just the perfect weekend. So speaking of Thursday night, we got the Jags and the Jets tonight. Jags at 6-8. They've been playing good football lately, man.
Yeah.
And the Jets, they've been a little so-so the past couple weeks after having a decent start off to the year, dealing with the whole Zach Wilson drama and all of that stuff. But and Mike White's been dealing with some injury issues, so Zach Wilson is up again tonight for the Jets. Let me ask you this, man. Is this Zach's last rope with the Jets tonight? Is this game a big implication as far as how he does? If he does poorly, could this be the last game we see Zach Wilson?
I think so. I think they would probably move on from him after this season if he goes out there and he lays another egg. Because you've seen what Mike White can do in this. I mean, you saw what Joe Flacco did early on, right? I mean, this is a team that is maybe just a quarterback away from being a really good football team. Mike White almost led them back to beat the Bills, Like, this is a good football team. They have probably a top 5, if not a top 6 or 7 defense in the NFL. They are fantastic on defense. And it sucks, that what was the running back, the young kid who got hurt, who was
Michael Carter?
No, before Carter. The rookie who got hurt.
Oh, Breece Hall.
Yes, Breece Hall. He was fantastic. Like, he looked like the real deal. He looked amazing. And then he got hurt. And you're kind of like, oh, this is going to be the end for the Jets, right? This is their storybook ending. And they're going to keep rolling. Okay, Michael Carter stepping up. Okay, they made the trade for the guy from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we haven't seen much of him. I don't even know if he's suiting up these days. So it's really weird what's happening right now on offense for the Jets, because their defense is keeping them in every single football game. And you just hope that Zach Wilson can figure it out, right? He looks lost out there. He looks like first option's not there. Oh no, what do I do? Whereas you want to see more of what Mike White was doing, like first option, second option, third option. Like actually going through your progressions, which is what NFL quarterbacks need to do, which is what makes Brock Purdy so impressive, for the 49ers, is he really understands that there's a reason that this guy runs there, that guy runs there, and that guy runs there, and I go left to right with it. It's going to take that amount of time for each one of these guys to get open, and he understands that there's something behind it. I don't know if Zach Wilson, that's quite clicked for him yet. He did a lot of just random plays, when he was at BYU, and they looked amazing. Yeah. I mean, he looked like, whoa, this guy gets just chucked it 60 yards down the field. Well, in the NFL, it's a different game. And yeah, he's got the strong arm, but does he have the mental capacity to be that quarterback? So I think it's a really big start for him tonight.
Yeah, it's huge. And I do again, have to give credit to Robert Saleh and the job that he has done amidst all of this, man. Just handling all this team and this franchise, just being the head guy out there, and it's a lot, to deal with, especially with your quarterback and all that whole situation going there with Zach Wilson. And so, I'm interested to see what happens tonight against Jacksonville, who come off a win against the Cowboys in overtime. They've been playing good football, man. Let's talk about the Jags here for a second, man. What have they been doing? What's been key to them getting these wins here? I mean, what's important here?
I think it's Trevor Lawrence, right? I mean, I think that he's really. We talk about it just kind of clicking, right, and just kind of figuring it out at quarterback. You've seen it happen for Trevor Lawrence. Last year was a dumpster fire. Okay, all that Urban Meyer stuff, it was just really atrocious. Hey, and Doug Peterson comes in and it's just kind of settled everything down. And he's kind of been the quarterback whisperer, wherever he's gone. And whatever he said to Trevor Lawrence, it looks like he has figured it out. He knows that he's got a lot of weapons out there, and he knows how to distribute the football, and he's doing it with accuracy. He's running when he needs to. And the Jags defense has really improved as well here over the last 5 or 6 games. They've kind of been on a roller coaster so far this season too. So it's kind of nice to see. I believe I came on here about 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. I said, don't count out the Jags just yet. Yeah. And so it's been nice to actually see that come to fruition. They figured it out, and it's fun to watch. I think tonight's going to be a great game. I really think this is going to be a nice battle. Maybe not a too high scoring of a game because you got some pretty good defenses out there, but I think it's going to be one of those that's extremely exciting, even if the score doesn't reflect it.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game. Again, like you said, these two teams that are battling right now, particularly for playoff position. As you look at the Jags, I mean, they're in the AFC South division where if they went out, man, and they got the next 2 games are against the Texans and the Titans after this game tonight against New York. So, yeah, man, this is a big game.
With no Ryan Tannehill, that could be 2 wins right there, right?
Yeah. And so this is going to be a big game for both of these teams. So, as is a lot of these games that we're having on this weekend. But, man, to this point in the year, particularly I wanted to ask, man, the Eagles, they're continuing their winning ways. They're 13-1, and they got a big test against the Cowboys, of course, on Saturday, on Christmas Eve. Jalen Hurts is out. Is Philly, is this going to be a bad thing for the Eagles, or you think they still can get this win here?
I think if I'm an Eagles fan right now, I'm worried, and I'm not so much worried about this one game. I'm worried about the lingering effects of the shoulder injury on your MVP, Jalen Hurts, right? You go out and you lose this game and you think to yourself, it's fine. We're going to be fine. But what if he doesn't play next week? And then what if he doesn't play the week after that? And then, you're still going to make the playoffs, but now you're starting stud quarterbacks miss 3 weeks. Or even if he misses 2 weeks and comes back for that final week, is the rhythm off, right? Is it not clicking as it was before he left? Because that's what football, a lot of football is momentum, right? It's about understanding what's happening all around you. When you bring in a different quarterback, it really changes the tempo of the game for these guys. And so to wind it down when Jalen Hurts is gone and then, expect to just pull the throttle back up when he gets back in there, it might be tough. So if I'm an Eagle fan right now, I'm concerned. I mean, you're talking about a shoulder injury to a quarterback, a running quarterback, a guy who runs a lot. I don't know. I'm concerned. Are you?
I am concerned. And it's again, Jalen Hurts, just his tremendous leap that he's made. I mean, it's been incredible this year. He's been playing incredible. Of course, made the Pro Bowl as he should have been. As he was on that list I saw when they released the players. But he is. If this is a big thing, this is an issue, and I am concerned about it. Even because just on the outside looking in for the Eagles, Gardner Minshew, okay, he's all right, but you bring Jalen back, like you said, he comes, if he misses this week, next week he comes back again, but then say he takes a wrong fall, a hit again,
big hit, right?
And he's out indefinitely. That's
right.
That's really bad. You don't want to see that, and so it is concerning.
Yeah, I don't ever want to see anybody hurt or miss time, but at the same time, Minshew mania was a thing for a little bit, right? I mean, Eagle fans are probably getting their fake mustaches out, their handlebars, and their aviator glasses, and they're ready to go.
Yes, Minshew mania. Yes, so we're going to see it on Saturday against the Cowboys, who are in a little bit of a spud themselves right now, and a lot of talk has been growing, Nick, with Dak Prescott, and I did mention this on my other podcast I did the other day, but is Dak Prescott really the guy? Is he worth $40 million annually?
It's tough to say he is, right? I mean, what's he won? You're talking about a football team that's been okay. They've been decent under him. He's put up great numbers.
Yeah.
But numbers and stats don't equal playoff wins. And that's all Dallas wants. Dallas wants playoff wins. And they judge everything by Super Bowls. And they haven't won a Super Bowl in a very long time. And I'm not sure that he's the guy that's going to get him back to there because I haven't seen it. Show it to me. Prove it to me, Dak. Come on. Let's see it. You just lost a tough game on your throw to the Jacksonville Jaguars in overtime, right? I mean, he's good. He's a good quarterback. Who wouldn't love to have him? There's only a couple of teams in the NFL that wouldn't take Dak Prescott because they're like, oh, we got Josh Allen. We're good. Like there's 20 teams that would, 25 teams maybe that would be like, yes, give us Dak Prescott. But until he actually starts winning some playoff games, I got to say he's not the guy.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like you said, Dak is an amazing quarterback. I just want everybody to understand that I'm not, I love Dak Prescott. I think he's very talented. Obviously, the Cowboys got him for a steal. I think it was the third or fourth round they drafted him back in 2016. I mean, he was a steal. And when he came in and when he took over for Romo and they went all the way to the divisional game against the Packers in the playoffs his rookie year. So I think he's a good quarterback. He's just not. I don't know if he's that guy.
There's something missing, right? It's just. And maybe it is just he needs to win a couple playoff games and really let some people believe it. But, I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, just all I could think about is last year when the 49ers beat them in the playoffs and just all those sad, crying Cowboys fans in the stands, I'm sure a lot of them were thinking the same thing, like, oh, man, Dak's not the
guy. And so this is going to be an interesting game because, again, you got two physical football teams. The Eagles, again, they're going to, even with Jalen being out, I expect them to lean a lot on Miles Sanders in that running game too, so and Dallas's defense, they've been kind of spotty too. I can't put all the blame on Dak for the last couple of weeks.
No, you can't.
The defense has been a little bit up in the air. So they got to figure it out. Michael Parsons is doing that talk about Jalen Hurts is like as a system quarterback or this or that, whatever he was saying. Okay, so that you say that, man, you guys have got to show up. And we'll see what happens there. So,
looking forward to that one.
Yes. So in other news, man, NFL Sunday Ticket, Nick, is headed to YouTube. Now, 7-year deal worth $2 billion per season. This NFL just released this news today. What do we think about this, man?
That's wild. I mean, Thursday night already went to Amazon Prime, and clearly, network television and just regular television is dying. Like we're watching it before our eyes as streaming services pop up, and it isn't much easier to watch something on your phone, and then it is to have to go home and click on your tuner and this and that. And I think that it's a great move for YouTube. I feel like they're going to make themselves a lot of money. They're going to bring a lot of people to their site because Sunday Ticket's not going away. And just because it switches services doesn't mean people are going to stop paying for it. They're going to keep paying for it because, man, there's nothing like just having Red Zone on and then all of a sudden it's the afternoon games. Actually, I really just want to watch this game. Or if you're out of market, my brother is a huge Lions fan. He's been a Lions fan since 1995. And so he's had that for 20 years because he wants to watch all of his Lions games. And that's kind of the only way to do it. So, that to me, I don't really matter where it goes. I think that wherever it goes, it's going to make a lot of money and it's going to be great for whatever service is providing it.
Yeah, I agree. We mentioned the Lions. Real quick, Detroit.
Woo.
They've been playing great football lately. So I'm going to give a shout out to the Lions here on the podcast, to Dan Campbell and those guys. Just the fight and the grit that they've been showing here. Do the Lions, Nick? Did we see a possible postseason appearance for Detroit this year? Finally.
And if they do make the postseason, I don't want to play them. I don't want to take on a team that's hot like this. You watch them play; they're gritty. You talk about dog in the fight. I think every one of those Lions are a lot like that dog that just aren't going to give up, right? They're just going to keep fighting to the very end. And I think what Campbell's done is amazing in his 2 years there as head coach. He's really turned that franchise around. He's resurrected Jared Goff's career. Amon-Ra St. Brown's quickly becoming one of the best wide receivers in football. And what they got on defense, Hutchinson, that guy can play. And it's a lot like Nick Bosa, right? Where he's not making every play, but just his presence disrupts an offense. And he might not have been anywhere near the play, but two guys went and got him, and that cleared up this guy over here to go make the play. And Aiden Hutchinson is the real deal, and they got themselves a stud, outside linebacker there, a defensive end, whatever you want to call him, whatever. A guy that can go get the quarterback and is also a great run stuffer too. And like I said, the Lions are hot right now, and if they go on and continue this run and make the playoffs, nobody's going to want to play them.
Nobody. Yeah, because they, again, what they've been able to do and just cater to what Jared Goff can do, because everybody was wondering if he was about done, right? As a quarterback after he left LA and, come to Detroit and, so first year and, he comes in here now. They start off bad this year, even though the offense has been good.
It wasn't even bad. I mean, they lost a lot of close games.
Yeah, they have.
The Lions lost a lot of close games early. They could very easily have 2 or 3 more wins right now. And if you go check the tape, when I said watch out for the Jaguars later this season, I also mentioned the Detroit Lions as well, because those are 2 teams that early on you could just see it. You could just see that's a good football team. They shouldn't be losing football games. It's kind of like the Raiders. They're a good football team. They lost a lot of really close games. And so I'd expect to see a little bit more from the Raiders. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders win out right now. And they're in contention for a wild card spot here at the end of the season too. So there's you could just tell by the eye test, right, if a team's good or not. The Lions early on, they were just getting beat. It would be tough. They'd lose like a game 38-35. It's like you just went out and put up 35 points and you lost. That's tough. But, it says a lot about your offense and a lot about your defense, a lot about your head coach and your entire team that you could – what were they, 1-6 or something? And now here they are. Like, what a turnaround. It's been incredible to watch.
Yeah, it has been. Again, just a great, team they got over there. And got to give credit to Dan Campbell once again in that squad there in Detroit. And so I would love to see them just sneak in there, man. I would love to see the Lions in the playoffs. I just want to see ESPN talking about the Detroit Lions are playing this weekend. Just to see the world go crazy. Just imagine what Twitter would be like.
I mean, just the fact that they would get a playoff game. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. So before we get off the podcast here, Nick, again, we're getting close to Christmas, so all that kind of stuff. So any last thoughts here before we get off, man?
Yeah, the only thing I want for Christmas is a healthy Deebo Samuel. So I'll take that.
That's a great gift right there. Hopefully Santa can reward that to you.
Come on, Santa. Maybe not this weekend though. Give him one more week to rest, and then come back next week, finish off couple weeks, go strong. Maybe sneak up, get that number 2 seed from the Vikings. Maybe the Eagles fall flat, and then they can chase that number 1 seed. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to be an exciting weekend of football.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Saturday is going to have a lot of NFL games on, Christmas Eve, and of course Sunday as well. So just make sure you guys check those games out. Find your local listings there. Nick, thanks again for coming on the podcast. We always love having you on. Good luck to your 49ers on Saturday
against
Chase. The Commanders.
Yeah, pleasure as always, and good luck to your Falcons.
We'll need it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
All right, happy holidays, guys. All right, Nick.